Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 3 of June 2025. Rare earth magnets, low in cost but critical in function, could emerge as a key supply-side risk for India's automotive sector if China's export restrictions and delays in shipment clearances persist. Rare earth magnets are integral to permanent magnet synchronous motors used in EVs for their high torque, energy efficiency and compact size. Hybrids also depend on them for efficient propulsion. In April 2025, China, the world's dominant exporter of rare earth magnets, imposed export restrictions on 7 rare earth elements and finished magnets, mandating export licenses. US-based Fidelity Investments has significantly increased its valuation of omni-channel eyewear retailer Lenskart to $6.1 billion, a 21% jump from its November assessment, as Lenskart prepares for an anticipated $1 billion initial public offering at a targeted $10 billion valuation. IndusInd Bank, having secured RBI approval, proposes Borkar and Mazumdar as joint statutory auditors pending shareholder approval at the 31st AGM. The appointment spans from 2025 to 2028, subject to annual RBI approval. RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra acknowledged the bank's recovery and deemed the CEO's resignation sufficient accountability for past issues, while emphasizing potential legal action for any criminal conduct. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and the Comptroller and Auditor General of India have signed a Memorandum of Understanding to strengthen training and capacity building for auditors involved in public sector audits. The collaboration aims to enhance audit effectiveness in India's public sector undertakings through structured programs. Amid rising concerns over unverified prescriptions and a surge in online pharmacies, the government is intensifying regulation and scrutiny on platforms promising medicine delivery within minutes. Complaints regarding bypass safeguards like age verification have prompted this action. The Comptroller and Auditor General of India will convene a meeting of state finance secretaries in September, with focus on the adoption of remote auditing, timely submission of state accounts data, and issues related to central sector schemes. Remote auditing is important for judicious allocation of human resources, given doubling and tripling of expenditures by entities and the rise in number of entities being audited, putting pressure on the manpower of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Amidst escalating Iran-Israel tensions, Indian refiners are exploring alternative fuel sources, particularly in West Africa, to mitigate potential supply disruptions from a possible Strait of Hormuz blockade. Officials are analyzing scenarios and preparing responses to potential price spikes, considering that a closure could jeopardize a significant portion of India's crude and LNG imports. Hyundai Motor India has commenced engine production at its Talegaon plant in Maharashtra starting June 16th. Acquired from General Motors, the facility has a capacity of 160,000 engines per year. Full-scale vehicle production is slated to begin later as part of Hyundai's Rs 6,000 crore investment in the state. India seeks assurance from the US in the finalized bilateral trade agreement to prevent additional tariffs by the Trump administration. India requests stability in tariffs, concessions for labor-intensive sectors, and a mechanism to address potential tariff increases. Both countries aim to finalize the bilateral trade agreement before the deadline, with India emphasizing the need for sustained trade advantages. In a move aimed at enhancing investor awareness and transparency, The Securities and Exchange Board of India has issued a circular directing real estate investment trusts and infrastructure investment trusts to prominently display and circulate the investor charter across multiple communication channels. The provisions of the SEBI circular are effective immediately. The Reserve Bank of India has issued the Know Your Customer Amendment Directions 2025, updating key provisions of the KYC framework applicable to regulated entities. These amendments aim to strike a balance between regulatory compliance and ease of access to financial services, especially for low-risk individuals. RBI has further simplified the KYC update process for low-risk customers. Authorized banking correspondents can now facilitate KYC updation on behalf of banks. This step is particularly beneficial for customers in remote areas who may not have easy access to physical bank branches. The National Company Law Tribunal has approved Meesho's plans to relocate its headquarters from Delaware to India, a key step in the e-commerce platform's path towards an initial public offering. The approval enables Meesho to formally separate from its US entity and merge operations under its Indian arm, completing a long-anticipated corporate restructuring. The company is reportedly expected to pay approximately $288 million in taxes related to the so-called reverse flip. Air India or Boeing could face unlimited damages if found negligent under international aviation law, UK legal experts said, following the June 12th crash of an Air India Boeing 787 in Ahmedabad that killed 241 people, including 12 crew and 33 on the ground. While Air India carries $1.5 billion in liability insurance, claims could exceed that if fault is established. From fiscal year 2027, a partner in an accounting firm can conduct a maximum of 60 tax audits annually. Charanjot Singh Nanda, president of ICAI, shared this decision. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India aims to discourage audit assignment concentration. New guidelines will soon be notified after ICAI's council meeting. The Central Board of Direct Taxes has issued a set of comprehensive guidelines for the compulsory selection of income tax returns for complete scrutiny during the financial year 2025-26. These guidelines aim to streamline the assessment process by clearly defining the cases that require detailed examination by the Income Tax Department. The new norms target charitable trusts, research institutions, and individuals or entities with a history of tax liability additions, as well as those subjected to search or survey actions. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has officially opened the online application window for the CA Foundation Intermediate and Final Examinations scheduled for September 2025. Aspiring candidates must visit the official ICAI portal at eservices.icai.org to submit their online exam forms. TechFino, a tech-enabled non-banking financial company, has raised ₹65 crore in a funding round led by Stellaris Venture Partners and Sison Capital, the venture investment arm of Tokyo-listed Credit Sison Co. The Bengaluru-based lender said it will use the fresh capital to broaden its branch network, enhance its technology infrastructure, and scale its secured lending operations. There is also a focus on micro, small, and medium enterprises in India's underserved Tier 2 and 3 cities. Razorpay enters consumer UPI space with a $30 million investment in rewards-driven app POP, becoming its major stakeholder. The move expands Razorpay's focus into loyalty and engagement, challenging UPI giants like PhonePe and Google Pay with POP's unique rewards-based payments model. An RBI investigation revealed lapses in Standard Chartered Bank's sale of complex derivative products, leading to accountability measures. Several employees from the Forex derivatives desk have departed amidst intensified scrutiny. Bonuses for senior officials are withheld due to ongoing internal reviews and regulatory concerns regarding inadequate risk disclosures to clients. Indian banks, particularly private lenders, are lagging in the transition to the ISO 20022 SWIFT messaging standard, with only SBI fully compliant ahead of the November deadline. This slow adoption rate, significantly below the global average, raises concerns about potential payment disruptions and penalties for non-compliant institutions. India's clean energy sector encounters financial obstacles. A significant number of projects are stalled. Only one project secured investment approval in 6 months. The nation needs substantial investment to achieve its green energy goals. China and the United States are ahead in attracting clean energy investments. Policy uncertainty and high capital costs are major impediments. Reliance Consumer Products is set to invest up to Rs 8,000 crore to expand its beverage brands like Campa Cola, challenging Coca-Cola and PepsiCo. The investment will establish 10 to 12 new plants. RCPL aims for national availability by March 2027, targeting mass consumers with lower prices. Despite weather impacts, India's beverage industry is projected to reach Rs 1.47 lakh crore by 2030. Skoda Auto Volkswagen India will invest Rs 10,000 crore to expand operations. The company will focus on premium SUVs and electric vehicles. This investment follows indecision due to lower sales of current models. The new plan, India 3.0, targets premium utility vehicles. Vehicles will be based on the CMP21 platform. Anil Ambani-led Reliance Infrastructure is set to manufacture Falcon 2000 business jets in India under a new strategic collaboration with French aerospace firm Dassault Aviation. Announced at the Paris Air Show, this development marks the first time the final assembly of Falcon 2000 jets will take place outside France and is poised to significantly boost India's position in the global aerospace manufacturing sector. Dayanidhi Maran accuses Kalanidhi Maran of fraudulently seizing control of Sun Group. He alleges a disputed share allotment in 2003. Dayanidhi demands restoration of the original shareholding structure. He plans legal action, including approaching SFIO and BCCI. The dispute involves Sun TV network and other assets. Allegations include misuse of dividends and illegal share transfers. Gentari Petronas renewable energy arm plans to sell a stake in its Indian unit. This could be a major green energy deal. Standard Chartered is advising on the sale. NTPC Green Energy and others are potential buyers. Gentari's CEO will visit India to discuss the sale. The company has a large portfolio of renewable energy projects in India. India is set to approve a Rs 3,000 to Rs 5,000 crore scheme to incentivize domestic production of rare earth minerals and magnets, aiming to reduce reliance on Chinese imports. This decision follows concerns raised by industries like automotive and renewable energy, which heavily depend on these critical minerals. The Securities and Exchange Board of India has issued a consultation paper proposing several changes to enhance the existing framework of accreditation for alternative investment funds. The proposed changes aims to streamline the process, improve regulatory oversight, and facilitate ease of doing business. SEBI has proposed that the function of accreditation be carried out only by SEBI registered intermediaries instead of merely recognized entities. This would ensure stronger oversight, increased accountability, and a more stable accreditation framework. The Securities and Exchange Board of India has released an updated master circular for stockbrokers, effective as of June 10, 2025. This consolidated circular serves as a comprehensive compilation of all applicable directions and guidelines for stockbrokers, providing clarity and regulatory consistency. In a huge relief to lenders, including commercial banks, the Reserve Bank of India has mandated general provision of only 1% of funded outstanding during the construction phase for all projects except for commercial real estate, as compared to 5% proposed in the draft norms released in May last year. The final norms on project finance, released on Thursday, would come into effect from October 1st, 2025. Amazon India has announced a fresh investment of Rs 2,000 crore or approximately $233 million in 2025 to bolster its logistics infrastructure, technology capabilities, and employee welfare initiatives. The company aims to accelerate deliveries, streamline operations, and enhance customer experience across the country. Amazon aims to speed up deliveries, upgrade fulfillment centers, and improve driver safety as it battles Flipkart, Meesho, and quick commerce players in India's fast-growing e-commerce market. HDB Financial Services, the non-bank lending arm of private lender HDFC Bank, said it may have to tweak its customer acquisition strategy if the Reserve Bank of India's proposed guidelines on eliminating overlapping business activities between banks and their subsidiaries are implemented in their current form. A draft circular on the framework for forms of business, issued by RBI in October 2024, impacted the bank's valuation, as it prohibited the subsidiary from undertaking core lending activities and discouraged banks and their NBFC units from duplicating similar business. Products offered by HDFC Bank, such as gold loans, loans against property, and two-wheeler loans are also offered by its parent bank, which has raised concerns among investors about the growth potential of HDB Financial. Bharti Enterprises will invest 31.4 million euros in Eutelsat as part of €1.35 billion capital raising plan to reduce debt and invest in satellite constellations. The French government will become the largest shareholder with 29.99% stake. Eutelsat OneWeb is set to launch commercial broadband services in India after receiving necessary clearances. A recent TeamLease EdTech report reveals a significant trend of Indian professionals self-funding upskilling initiatives, with 46% choosing this route despite only 23.9% of employers offering full sponsorship. The survey of over 14,000 professionals indicates that 84% engaged in upskilling, leading to positive appraisal outcomes for 64%. Notably, 42% experienced career advancements within 18 months, highlighting upskilling's impact. US-listed online travel platform MakeMyTrip has raised $3.1 billion through equity and debt, according to Morgan Stanley, the company's banker. This is the largest ever fundraise by a listed new age Indian company, surpassing Paytm, which had raised $2.4 billion through its IPO in 2021. This is also the largest concurrent offering of equity follow-on and convertible notes since 2022 in the Asia-Pacific region. Global professional services firms are resisting ICAI's draft guidelines for overseas networks, citing excessive disclosure requirements and ambiguous terminology. These firms express concerns about confidentiality breaches and increased operational complexity. The proposed rules could hinder global accounting firms' operations in India and negatively impact smaller Indian firms reliant on international partnerships. Quick commerce faces challenges in hiring delivery partners. Demand is rising and companies like Amazon are joining the market. However, a shortage of bikers exists. Riders are demanding better pay and conditions. Some disrupt operations due to low payouts. Extreme weather worsens working conditions. Companies are trying to retain riders with benefits amid competition. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.